1,000 games, 17 years, a reign of tactical innovation that has fundamentally reshaped modern football. For Josep Pep Guardiola, a milestone is never just a number. It's another opportunity to prove a point. As Manchester City battled Liverpool in his 1,000th match as a manager, the stakes were immense. A loss would cast doubt on their title ambitions. But on a night that celebrated his longevity, Guardiola delivered what he always does: a tactical masterclass. A victory that announced to the world that Manchester City is, once again, firmly back in the title race. But this isn't just a story about winning. It's a story about evolution. It's the story of a man who was declared finished only a season ago, only to reinvent his team and conquer all of Europe. This is the story of the architect of modern football and how his greatest strength isn't a system, but his relentless ability to adapt. To understand Guardiola's genius, we must go back to a night that caused a seismic shift in football tactics. May 2nd, 2009, the Santiago Bernabeu, Real Madrid versus Barcelona, the biggest rivalry in sports. But Guardiola had seen a weakness. He had spent days studying Madrid's defense. He knew their central defenders, Fabio Cannavaro and Christoph Metzelder, were aggressive man markers. They wanted was a masterstroke. The Madrid defenders were completely grand stage. The false nine was born, and Guardiola had announced himself as a rebel. The 2022-23 season started with unprecedented pressure. The team looked disjointed, vulnerable. For the first time, the narrative began to shift. People were genuinely saying his time was up. They argued that his possession-based style had become predictable, that without a player like Messi, his system couldn't win the biggest prize in Europe, the Champions League. His rivals seemed to have figured him out. The world saw a manager who was supposedly out of ideas, but Guardiola saw an opportunity to adapt, to evolve, to prove everyone wrong once again. He did something extraordinary. He took a traditional center-back, John Stones, and turned him into a hybrid defender midfielder. This gave City numerical superiority in the middle of the pitch, allowing them to control games in a way they couldn't before. It completely blindsided the opposition. He adapted his system to accommodate a pure striker in Erling Haaland, proving he wasn't tied to the false nine. He reinvented his defense. He didn't just tweak his team, he gave it a new brain. The result? The most dominant season in the club's history. The man who was finished had built his most complete team yet. He hadn't just answered his critics, he had silenced them with a symphony of tactical brilliance. Which brings us back to his 1,000th game. Against Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool, one of his greatest rivals, Guardiola's adaptability was on full display. He didn't rely on last season's formula. He studied his opponent, identified their weaknesses, and tailored his approach. That's his true genius. Many great managers have a great system. Ferguson had his relentless attacking sides, Mourinho his defensive fortresses. But Guardiola's system is change. His philosophy is to constantly question his own success and find a new way. From the false nine at Barcelona, to using full-backs as midfielders at Bayern Munich, to creating a Premier League team that earned 100 points, to building a treble-winning side with a hybrid defender. His career is a timeline of evolution. He doesn't just manage games, he solves puzzles. 1,000 games, a journey that has taken him from Barcelona to Bavaria to Manchester. A journey that has collected over 30 major trophies. But for Pep Guardiola, the past is merely research for the future. His era was never over because his era is one of constant renewal. Each game is a new thesis, each season a new experiment. And as he embarks on his next 1,000 games, the football world watches on, waiting for the next revolution. Because with Pep Guardiola, it's not a question of if it will happen, but simply when.